Okay, just a second. Okay, so Hanuman is like very favorite to us because we can see that you are like a lotus. We can understand that your qualities and pastimes are like honey, but we cannot experience you. We can experience you only through your pure devotee. Only through hearing the pastimes of your pure devotee, how a pure devotee acts, how a pure devotee serves. Only through them, I will be able to understand the Lord, right? So it is said that the glories of the devotee of the Lord surpasses the glories of the glorious Lord. Yes or no? So, for example, without Prahlad Maharaj, will we have a Narsimha Leela? Right. So, no. Without Dhruva Maharaj, would we have known the glories of Lord Narayana? I mean, when we describe Lord Narayana through the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj, right? Similarly, Vamana Dev, unless somebody has to be on mute. Okay. Similarly, Bali Maharaj, the great devotee Bali Maharaj, actually, without him, the Vamana Dev avatar, we wouldn't have known so much, right? So similarly, Lord Ramachandra's pastimes, very sweet pastimes, are always with Hanuman. And the more we understand the mood, the service attitude, the feeling which Hanuman had for Lord Rama, and if we are able to take one or two cues from that, then our spiritual life will be very, very glorious. So this episode of where Jambavan, the place where they are sitting in the shore, and each of the monkeys are telling, right, okay, who's going to jump the ocean to go and, okay, they have an idea that Sita is there in Lanka, but somebody has to go and confirm. Okay, only then they can start the other processes. So which monkey is going to go to the other side and go to Lanka and confirm, okay, see that Sita is there. So each monkey is telling, I can jump so many miles, I can jump so many, so much, I can do this, I can do that, like that. And everybody turns to Jambavan. And Jambavan is the most experienced, the most oldest, and the most, he's like the monkey bear, like that. So everybody looks up to Jambavan. And Jambavan jokingly says, I can jump. I can even find Sita, but I won't have the energy to come back. I am old. So then, but he didn't stop there. He looked at Hanuman and he said, you can do. So Hanuman, all the while he was quiet, because of course we all know this pastime of how Hanuman got all the power. When he was a small baby, he tried to devour the sun. He tried to eat the sun, and then Indra threw a thunderbolt, and he got his jaw broken. So, and then what is it? Vayudeva actually strikes. He stops all the air, and then they all go to Brahma. And I'm just doing this a little fast because most of us would know the story. And then Brahma actually asks Vayudev to withdraw, to release the air. And then Vayudev says, let all the demigods bless my son. So each of the demigod, they actually give one power to Hanuman, and Hanuman becomes very powerful. And Indra says, none of the Vajra, that is none of the Gada, the Vajra will strike you. So he becomes Vajranga Bali. He becomes powerful against the Vajras. That's why we say Bajranga Bali. So all these things. So because of all these powers, Hanuman becomes very like a brat, a naughty little child, always playing fun, because he has all the powers. He can jump wherever he wants. He can become small. He can become big. So he was like, going all around the place and giving trouble to sages, rishis, all brahmanas. So one time when he was doing all these things in too much, so the sages cursed him, so that you forget all your powers until and unless someone reminds you of your capability and capacity and your ability. Okay, you can do this. Until then, you will forget all your powers. So then Hanuman, so we come back to this place, like, so Jambavan is like telling Hanuman, you can do it. So he actually, what he says, he actually empowers Hanuman. He empowers Hanuman to actually do the job. So Jambavan, a very beautiful point about Jambavan, which I read, like Jambavan is a very, very, very humble devotee of the Lord. So whatever it takes to unite Lord Ram and Sita Devi, he is the one who actually ignites it, by empowering Hanuman. And he does it in a so subtle way. Sometimes we also, oh, this devotee, first I only met him, I only taught him how to chant Hare Krishna. I only taught how to do pranams. He never knew anything in the temple. So we keep rattling all these things, or at least I will do. Oh, I know you from so long, I know you, like that. But Jambavan did this big job of igniting the capability and ability and being so humble. It was like as though the acharyas say we should be like salt in a dish. That is, if the salt is too much also, people will say, oh, it is very salty. But if the salt is less also, everybody will say, I think more salt should be added. But if the salt is correct, nobody will talk about salt. Oh, the dish is very nice. The dish is very tasty. Oh, this paneer sabji is so tasty and it's so nice. But nobody will say salt is exact. We wouldn't say that much. So like a salt, you just get merged and you become invisible, right? So you do your stuff, you do the service of, uniting, be in the service of Lord Rama and Sita, and just keep quiet. So Jambavan did not jump the ocean, but he empowered Hanuman to jump the ocean. So in our ISKCON Leela, in our ISKCON history, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur did not jump the ocean, right? He did not cross the seas. Who crossed the seas? Who crossed the ocean?
Srila
Prabhupada crossed the ocean. And who is so Srila Prabhupada is the Hanuman of our ISKCON, right? He crossed the seas and with so much difficulties, he went on the other side to perform his services and create this wonderful family, which we are all relishing, ISKCON. So, and who is the Jambavan over here?
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati.
Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati. Because he is the one who put that fire in Srila Prabhupada's heart. You are an English-speaking gentleman. You should go out and preach. You should go to Videshi land and preach. So that Srila Prabhupada kept it for more or less 50 years on his heart. And he wanted to execute his instructions. So executing the instructions of your spiritual master. So if you see Hanuman, this particular activity also, Hanuman was very, very submissive. He took Jambavan to be his spiritual master. And he was so submissive that he actually just took Jambavan's instructions to his heart. He never doubted 1 second. Can I jump the ocean? No. Jambavan said, yes, you are the one. You can do it. And Hanuman, immediately he had the Rama Nama in his heart, mind, thought, everything. Everything of his is synchronized. For us, mind will go in one direction, our action will be in another direction. But for Hanuman, mind, thought, action, words, everything, his heart, everything will be only in the service of Lord Ram. So he took Jambavan's instructions as though taking spiritual master's instructions. Similarly, in our spiritual life also, rendering service, tatvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya padekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Our spiritual masters have seen the truth. Our acharyas have seen the truth. So how do we actually, we submissively, we render service to them. We inquire from them. So unless and until we start to follow our spiritual master, follow his instructions, we cannot progress in our spiritual life. So day after tomorrow, we have our Jayapataka Swami Guru Maharaj's Vyas Puja. Very, very important to get into the mood of serving the spiritual master, and how Guru Maharaj is an embodiment of, giving his life and soul to Srila Prabhupada. even at this age, with so many bodily discomforts, he is not wanting to give up even on the smallest instruction of Srila Prabhupada. And he is begging all the devotees, kindly help me in this service of completing the services or the instructions given by Srila Prabhupada to me. So we, as a disciple, we have this duty of being very submissive, being humble, taking the instruction of our spiritual master to our heart and follow his footsteps. So Hanuman was very, very proper in, he was very sincere in that aspect of following Jambavan. So when Hanuman sat and started meditating in Lord Rama's name, he started chanting Lord Rama's name. Actually, Hanuman had extreme faith in Rama's name. So his faith was such that always his mouth was chattering Ram, 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 even in the sleep, even wherever he was. So it is said the smallest of the seed contains the biggest tree, and the smallest of the mantra or the smallest of the truth will contain the biggest secrets in our spiritual life. So the Hare Krishna mantra may be small, the Harinam, the Ram Nam, what we are chanting, but it can actually give us the completion of our spiritual life. It can actually make us achieve the goal of our spiritual life. So Hanuman was actually having extreme faith in Lord Rama's name. So the others who were around, they had a doubt, will Hanuman be able to jump across? This ocean is so big. So Hanuman came back and told them, Jambavan has given me this instruction, and I am having Lord Ramachandra's name, holy name in my mouth and heart. So what to speak of this ocean between Rameshwaram and Lanka? This holy name can help me cross the Bhavasagara, can help me cross the Samsara Sagara, cross this material ocean. So what to speak of the small ocean from Rameshwaram to Lanka? With the holy name's powers and with the instructions of my spiritual master, I can jump across the ocean. So that was the faith which Hanuman showed. So next, when we come, as we are taking our spiritual path, it's not going to be easy, right? When we say we have joined ISKCON or we have started doing some services, all our people will come, our neighbors, our relatives. Oh, don't go, you will be caught. You will be trapped in ISKCON. Don't go there. Don't go too much. They'll change their lifestyle, this, that. So as our spiritual life starts, we have lot of speed breakers, right? Our speed breakers are many. Similarly, so how do we cross these speed breakers? So similarly, Hanuman faced mainly we should say, not all, but mainly 3 speed breakers or obstacles when he crossed the oceans. So anybody knows what are the 3? Anybody would like to say? I will just take a little breathing. Anybody wants to say something? What are the 3? All are awake, all are there. Mataji, only both of us are on video, so nobody is on video also. So I don't know what is happening.
We are listening, Mataji. So interesting. Yeah. We are listening.
We are in the ocean, Mataji. We are just.
But I'm not getting answers now, Mataji. That is what is worrying me.
That's one is Sursa, Mainak Parvat.
Yes, very nice.
And Lankini was later on.
Lankeshwari was, Lankini was later on, Mataji. You almost got Mainak Parvat, Surasa, and Simika. Simika is a sea monster. Very nice. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mataji. So, okay. So first he meets the Mainak Parvat. So the Mainak Parvat, the hill, okay. So this this hill is actually a forefather of Vayudev. Basically, he's forefather of Hanuman. So, so he was very happy to see Hanuman. Just like our grandfathers and grandparents. After a long time, they very happy. So he wanted to do something for Hanuman. He wanted to gift something for Hanuman. He wanted to do something. So he says, I'm a big mountain. I have a lot of caves in me. Why don't you come and rest inside? And I have a lot of waterfalls. I can give you some nectarian water for relishing your thirst. And you're going on this big journey. It's a big thing. So why don't you come inside? But Hanuman could not even comprehend what Mainak Parvat was saying. Hanuman's goal was so fixed. Hanuman's goal was so fixed that he has to go and see Sita Devi. And he has to come and report back to Lord Ram. So he was not in any mood to even take some rest or, because he was his forefather, because he was his relative, come and, take, oblige to him, oblige. He was like very fixed on his goal. So similarly, our spiritual goals should be this is the first lesson, or many points we have covered. You can take it as 1 or 2 lessons, but in these 3 obstacles, the first lesson is like our spiritual goal should be really fixed. When we in our classes or something, when we tell chant and take Ekadasi Vrata, the drop of the hat, they will say, oh, today I can't, Mataji, today festival is, function is there at home, I can't follow Ekadasi. Chanting Mataji, night, just 1 round I've been able to do. Mataji, whole day is occupied, Mataji. Whole day occupied, only 2 hours TV, 3 hours chatting with somebody like that. But whole day is occupied. So what happens? So our spiritual goal is not seen or is not fixed in your mind. But other things, Maya comes and occupies your time and energy. That's why there is a curtain, Maya Dekshana Prakriti. There is a curtain before you, Krishna says, right? There is a curtain before you. Maya will come. And how do I cross this curtain? How do I, come over these 3 modes of nature? Krishna says, only if you surrender to me. Only if you start serving me, then you can overcome these 3 modes of nature. So similarly, time, oh yeah, okay, Prabhu's coming and telling time is too much. Yeah, I'm taking like 1 hour class, I'm so sorry. Okay, okay, so I'll just make it fast. Okay, so distractions will keep coming in our spiritual life. Our relatives, people will keep coming and telling so many things. Why don't you go to this function? Why don't we go for movies? Why don't we have a get together and all those things? You can do based on priority wise and other things, but your spiritual goal should be fixed. And you should keep moving, not stagnant in your spiritual life. Keep moving towards your spiritual goal. That is very, very important. The next obstacle which Hanuman faced was the sea monster Simika. So Simika was a very, very envious sea monster. So she was a huge sea monster, and she has the power of seeing the shadow of somebody who's on the air and pulling them down. Just by seeing the shadow, she has the power to pull them down, to pull them into the waters and drown them, right? So she was like actually trying to catch by the shadow of Hanuman and pull. So even in our spiritual life, if we see this Simika represents envy, right? Envy. So in all these 6 anarthas, Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Mada, Matsarya, this envy is something which cannot be solved by your spiritual process. Others cannot. Everything will be counteracted by your spiritual process. But envy is something which cannot be. It can be only. We have this tendency of fault finding. So for example, we are a group of devotees who do service, and there is somebody who does a lot of service. So immediately what will happen is, oh, she is getting all the service, or he is getting, why not me? Am I not capable? Why, what mistake did? So the mind rattles with all these things. So the moment, we try to find fault, and that means there is this envy showing up in our heart. So there is no place of envy in our bhakti. That is, in that lecture which I heard, envy, capital N and V means no vacancy. So no vacancy where? No vacancy in Goloka for envy. So you don't have vacancy in Goloka for envy if you have envy. So you counteract the fault finding by glorifying the devotees. When you see a devotee, when you hear that they have done services, you learn. That's what even Radhanath Maharaj sometimes says. If you can't glorify also, you fake it. You fake it until you make it. Doesn't matter. Make glorifying a practice. When you see some devotee, oh, you cook so well. Oh, you serve the Lord so well. In spite of all your activities, you don't forget to chant. It's so nice. So you learn to glorify these devotees. Actually, this point, personally, it is a big learning for me also. So I keep trying, but not at all coming up, but slowly I'm trying this. So for all of us, we have some weaknesses. So for me, this glorifying is something which I have to do more. So this, we need to overcome our envy by glorifying the devotees, not finding fault. The third obstacle which we understand is what is it? Surasa. Surasa signifies pride or showing off, right? So what Surasa is, so how Hanuman tore apart Simika. He just tore apart Simika and he crossed her. Then Surasa is a big snake. So she has big capacity and big power in the ocean. So she says, opened her mouth wide, and she says, until you go inside my mouth and come out, you cannot cross the ocean. So she tried to show off her powers, her pride, that she's the queen of the ocean, like that. So Hanuman kept on becoming big, opened his mouth bigger, and she was also competing with him, opening bigger. Then finally Hanuman, suddenly he became small, went inside her mouth and came out. So Surasa was like stunned. She was saying, very impressive, Hanuman. So she was like stunned. Hanuman used his intelligence and he did the task. So this aspect of showing off or pride. So when we do services, we do not do for showing off what service we do. Radhanath Maharaj says, it does not matter what the service is, but what matters is in what spirit you are doing the service. The service can be anything. It can be chapel stand, it can be chuta plate washing, it can be Vyasa sitting in Vyasasana giving Bhagavatam, it can be any big service, small service, serving the deities personally, anything. But what matters is how humbly and in what mood and attitude you are serving the Lord. What is the mood and attitude? Always pleasing the Lord. How I can make the Lord happy. What I do will make the Lord happy. If I'm having to sacrifice something to make the Lord and the devotees happy, it doesn't matter, you can do that. But never try to showcase yourself with your services and your qualities. So these are the three lessons we actually learned from Hanuman's obstacles he faced. And further, of course, when he landed in Lanka, he had to meet many more obstacles and finally reach Sita Devi. So with this, I am so sorry. I'm extremely sorry for taking so much time. I hope there were some points to ponder upon, and actually our spiritual life is a wonderful spiritual journey. Like Gaur Gopal Prabhu always says, don't go through life, grow through life. Like that, grow through our spiritual journey. It is wonderful, like, how we actually, how we beautifully learn so many things in our spiritual life, and every year or every day getting closer and closer to the Lord. And on this auspicious day, praying to Lord Ramachandra, if I have committed any mistakes or offenses and taking so much time, I am very sorry. So please forgive me for taking so much time, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity to be in your service. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hari Bol, Mataji. That was very perfectly added salt in the Vadapappu or Kosambari, Mataji. Now we understand when you glorify us, you are actually finding faults in us instead of that. Hari Bol, Mataji. Very nice, Mataji. I hope everyone received their Kosambari Prashadam today.
I also told I am not perfect in that aspect, so I'm really glorifying. If I glorify, I'm really glorifying.
Yeah, very wonderful lessons, Mataji, for all of us. Thank you so much for the nectarian session, Mataji. Now I would like to invite Sarvashri Mataji for another prasadam, which is sweet berry, which was offered by Shabri to Lord Ram. Hare Krishna Mataji, if you are ready, please start your bhajan and serve us the feast, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna to all devotees, and wishing you all happy Ram Navmi. And thanks everyone for giving me this opportunity to sing the Lord Rama on the auspicious day of Ram Navmi. Today I am going to sing a bhajan named Sriram Chandra Kripalu Bhajman. So I'll share the screen.
To enlighten enlightening also.
Binodini Mataji, can you mute yourself, Mataji? Sorry, Mataji.
Sorry, Mataji.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you, Mataji.
Yeah.
We can see the screen also.
Yeah. Shri Ram Chandra Kripalu Bhajman Arana Bhav Darunam Nava Kanja Lochana Kanja Mukha Kara Kanja Pada Kanjarunam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram Kandarp Aganita Amita Chavi Navanila Nirada Sundaram Patapita Manahu Tadita Ruchi Suchi Nomi Janaka Sutabaram Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram Bhajadina Bandhu Dinesh Danav Dattavanshani Kandanam Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Koshala Chandra Dasharatha Nandanam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram Sir Mukut Kundala Tilak Char Udhar Anga Vibhushanam Ajanubhuj Sar Chapadhar Sangram Chitkar Dushanam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram Iti Vadita Tulsi Das Shankar Shesha Muni Manaranjanam Mama Hardaya Kanja Nivasa Guru Kamadi Khal Dal Ranjanam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram Chandra Kripalu Bhajman Harana Bhav Bhaya Darunam Nava Kanja Lochana Kanja Mukha Kar Kanja Pad Kanjarunam Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Now I'll read the meaning. O my heart, sing praises of Sri Ram, who absorbs the greatest fear due to the cycle of life and death, and whose eyes, mouth, hands, and feet are like a newly blooming red lotus. I bow to Sri Ram, whose beauty cannot be compared with that of the Cupid Kamdev, whose pleasing appearance is beyond any measures, whose body is like a newly formed dense blue cloud, whose yellow robes are shining like lightning on his cloud-like body, whose beauty is gleaming, and who is the consort of the daughter of Janak, Sita. Sing praises of Sri Ram, who is the friend of poor, who is the Lord of sun, who finishes the lineage of demons, who is the dear one of Raghu, who is like a cloud of happiness, who is like a moon of Kaushalya, and who is dear one of Dashrath. Sing praises of Sriram, who has a beautiful crown on his head, who is adorned with ear hoops, who has a beautiful colored mark tilak on his forehead, who has expanded and beautiful organs decorated by ornaments, who has long hands reaching his knees, who holds a bow and an arrow, and who defeated Khar and Dushan in a fierce battle. Tulsidas says this: Ram, the enticer of Shiva, Shesha, Sheshnag, and saints, reside in my lotus-like heart and destroy the evils generated by desires. Thank you. Thank you so much. Shri Ramchandra Bhagwan ki jai. Shri Ram Navmi Maha Mahotsav ki jai. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hari Bol Mataji.
Hari
That
Bol.
was adorable bhajan Mataji by Tulsidas, and we just got to the mood of Shabri Mata, who has utmost devotion for Lord Ramchandra. I hope everyone has received the taste of sweet berries. So next, we invite Premdatta Prabhuji, the last item of this feast on Sriram Navami, which I just now thought of Sita Ram Phalam, custard apple. You all might have no, I don't know which in your language what it, I mean Kannada, other languages what it is called. Custard apple is called as Sita Rama Phal. So Hare Krishna Prabhuji, whenever you are ready, we are all waiting eagerly for the last item of today's session, Prabhuji.
He always gives us semia payasam, so sweet.
Today, something different, Prabhuji.
So thank you, Vishnupriya Mataji. Thank you so much. And so Achyut Prabhu, you mean to say I always talk the same thing, right? So semia paisam. I
No, I
always give
spoke
semia
about the
paisam.
sweetness, Prabhu. I spoke about the sweetness of your.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Thanks for your wonderful, kind words always. So I think I was today regretting actually that we kept so many of this thing, because Apara Mataji's session was so so captivating that I was regretting that I don't know why I came in between today. So my apologies that, because we did, I think we should have thought that today we'll have only Apara Mataji's session. But anyway, so whatever we planned, but maybe in future we should take care, because Mataji's session was very, it had so much content related to Lord Ram's special day today. So, but anyway, as we have planned, so I think as per plan, I have only 5 minutes, correct?
Prabhuji, no, Prabhuji, today is a long session, Prabhuji.
Oh, is it?
So we don't have any restriction. Are you all ready to have a prolonged session today?
Sure,
Hari Bol,
Hari Hari Bol. Hari
So
Hari Bol.
I'll take a clue from Neelam Mataji session. Unless everybody leaves this thing, I'll continue. Just kidding. Okay, we'll have some 10-15 minutes, whatever. To be honest, I didn't get opportunity to prepare enough. But you know, today is very auspicious day and very nice day today. We, along with few of the devotees like Nitin Prabhu, Neelam Mataji, Rashekar Prabhu, Mahindra Prabhu, we all attended today Rath Yatra in South Bangalore, and it was just amazing. You know, it just created so much. I think, of course, it was RSS based program, but it was the main attraction, the Ratha, the Kirtan, and Prasadam that was arranged by ISKCON. So you can imagine it was like very this thing. So all that you know, all that Kirtan is still you know, going on in my ears. You know, so beautiful, and most of the time Sitaram, like that. So very special. I don't think in ISKCON I have ever attended after coming a Ram Rath Yatra. So I think today it was a very special day in that sense. So the topic I thought was we'll try to discuss some of the lesson we learned from Ramayana. Actually, I don't think 10-15 minutes are enough, but you know, we'll try to capture whatever some important aspects of Ramayana. So Jagasakshi Prabhu's lectures, anybody is hearing, they would have heard this many times. Prabhu often quotes this. Chanakya says that the intelligent people, they do three things. They say pratah dyuta prasanganam, madhyanam stri prasanganam, ratri chaura prasanganam, kalo ichchati dhimaha. So it says the intelligent people, what they do, in the morning they talk about gambling, in the afternoon they talk about the woman, in night they talk about the thief, and like this they pass the time. So anybody understand this? What does that mean? Gambling in the morning, afternoon talking about this three, in the evening talking about thief, and like that intelligent people spend the day. Anybody know what does it mean?
Yes, Prabhuji, it's like morning we should.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
I cannot hear who is speaking.
Prabhuji.
Sangeeta Mataji, you are not audible.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare
Okay.
Krishna, Prabhuji.
Okay, so who was saying? Lalita Mataji, you were speaking, or I don't know. Who was...
Yes, Prabhuji. Let
Okay.
Sangeeta Mataji speak. Prabhuji.
Okay, Sangeeta Mataji, please go ahead,
I
ma'am.
can speak 2 points and 2 points Mataji can tell. First is Mahabharat, that Mahabharat Prasanga we
Dyuta,
should.
yes.
Dyut
Gambling.
Krida is there, no? Then three in Ramayan we should take up in the evening. Next 2 points Lalita Mataji can say.
Thank you, Mataji. Next point is Chora means Lord Krishna.
Yes.
Past tense of Lord Krishna.
Past tense of. So
Yes,
the
sir.
speech. Thank you so much, both
Thank
of you,
you, Prabhuji.
Mataji. So so this is how a spiritual person, a spiritualist, should spend their time. Not the other way, talking about gambling in the morning, other women in afternoon, and talking about the thieves in night. So it's morning which we are discussing. Like just an analogy, or maybe it's an example. In our ISKCON, we do it a little different. In the morning, we read Bhagavatam. In the evening, Prabhupada asked us to attend Bhagavad-Gita class, and in the afternoon, we have Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we have so many books to read. Actually, this is not the list, and we have to read so much, Leela Mrita, and there are so many Prabhupada books. But the point here is that, a spiritual, I would say a person who is aspiring a spiritual perfection should spend their whole day, 24 hours a day, in the reading about the Lord, hearing about the Lord, spending time to, read the scriptures and, hear from that. So that's how a spiritual life should be. But unfortunately, we all live in Kali Yuga, so it's very difficult to spend all day. But at least some time in a day we should dedicate specifically. And Ramayana is such a nectarian. Sometimes we may get bored with Bhagavad-Gita, thinking it's whole philosophy. But Ramayana, it's a in the form of a story, Lord personally is showing by his own example, how ideal human life is, how it should be. So there are, we all know that there are different kind of avatars are there. We have Leela avatar, we have Purusha avatar, we have Yuga avatars, and different categories. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Lord Rama and Lord Krishna specifically, they come into, Krishna is, of course, he is avatari, but Lord Rama is particularly falls into category of Leela avatars, because he has, of course, Lord Krishna, but he's Krishna himself, he is avatari, so he is also doing different leelas to, to attract us towards the God, towards the Lord. Because Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna says, Mame Vamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So we are all the part and parcel, as a living entity, we are part and parcel of Krishna. But unfortunately, we are in this material world. We are fully conditioned. We are attracted for the material things. So what he should do? So he's personally coming and doing different kind of leelas so that we get attracted to him. And in this life itself, we develop that desire that somehow or other I have to go back to, Krishna. So we all know that Krishna says in Bhagavad-Gita, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So Paritranaya sadhunam, to protect the sadhus, vinashaya cha dushkritam, to annihilate the demons and establish the dharma. Krishna says, I come again and again. But in case of Lord Ram, so we may say that his goal of his incarnation or avatar was that, to kill Ravana. But our acharyas explained that, if Krishna wanted, or in the form of Lord Rama wanted, he doesn't need to personally come to, kill Rama, because there are a couple of examples in the scriptures which explains that, Ravana was can be easily killed by, not just, our acharyas also say that through Maya, or the material energy of the Lord can arrange something, and kill. But then if we see scriptures, there are 3 examples where the Ravana was defeated, and these were the people who were capable of killing Ravana itself. So first example is Vali. We all know the Ramayana part, which comes in the how Vali and Sugriv, there was a fight, and Lord Ram comes there and he kills Vali. But before that, their part of that story is that, once Ravana has gone, Ravana somehow knew that, Vali is very strong, and he wanted to capture Kishkinda. So then he thought that, okay, I'll go and kill Vali by from the back, like that, I will kill him. So what he does, he goes to Vali, and somehow at that point of time, Vali was doing Sandhya Vandana. So he's busy in his this thing. But what Ravana does, he comes from behind and he wants to, capture Vali and press his neck. But on the other hand, although Vali was doing Sandhya Vandanam, he just, with the other hand, he just drags Ravan and he just holds him like this. And Ravan is not able to, it is mentioned that for 6 months he kept Ravan like that. And at the end, Ravan has to offer the forgiveness, and he offered, okay, I offer my friendship to you. So for that reason, Ravana never ever attacked Kishkinda, because Vali was so this thing. So now the question comes is, why Vali was not given this job of killing Ravana? Vali was not given the job of killing Ravana was because he was full of Kam Vasana. He was very kami, he was very lusty, and he had ahankar. Second person whom we see, who can be killed was Parshuram. Although Parshuram is the, Shakti Avisha avatar of the Lord himself. And he had actually wiped out all the Kshatriyas, and he was contemporary of Ram and Ravana. Actually, we know this story, right? That when Ram's Sita Swambar was happening, and Ram broke the Shiva's bow, at that point of time, Parshuram comes there and he basically becomes very angry. And there is famous that Lakshman Parshuram Samvad is there, conversation between Parshuram and Lakshman. At that point of time, but somehow Lord Ram with his own sweet, talks, he just, of course, this is a Leela of the Ram, because Leela of the Lord, because both of them are, Lord Ram is, full incarnation, and Parshuram is Shakti Avisha avatar of the Lord. But again, the Acharya says, because Parshuram, although he is the incarnation of the Lord, but he was the personification of Krodha at that point of time, because he was angry, And so he didn't kill, I should not say could not, but he did not kill Ravana. And then there is another story in Shastras, which is about a person called Sahastra Arjuna. He was one of the very powerful king of the contemporary king of that point of time, and his name was Sahastra Bahu Arjuna actually. So he had 100, actually his name was Kartavirya or something, Kartavirya or something like that. I'm not able to recall exactly. So he had actually 1,000 hands. So what had actually happened is that once, Ravana was doing dhyanam or whatever, tapasya, near the river, one of the river. At that point of time, and this Kartavirya Arjun, his name was, or Sahastra Bahu Arjun, he came and he was enjoying with women. And with his whole powerful hands and body, he stopped the flow of water. And Ravana got very upset with that, and he thought, okay, let me go and kill this person who has disturbed my dhyan or whatever, tapasya. So, but when he goes and basically challenges Kartavirya Arjun, he just takes out one of his 1,000 hands and he grabs Ravan's neck and he holds him for a long time, and at the end Ravana has to ask for forgiveness. So what Acharya says that that these were three people who could have easily killed Ravana. And again, because why Kartavirya Arjun, I will not go much into his story, but his story is like he was very greedy and he has killed many other, kings. So basically, Vali had Kam, Parshuram had Krodh, he was the incarnation of the Lord in the form of Krodha, and Kartavirya Arjun was more Lobhi, a lot of greed he had. So so Lord wanted to set an example that anybody, who wants to conquer the, anarthas, should be free from all that. And Lord wanted to lead by example, saying that anybody who is, and who best can show the example by the Lord himself, because if he has to, and even if he has to empower some living entities, there would be still some chances that, they may show some kind of these defects, but he has to personally come and lead by example that this is how an ideal human being should be. And many times you see this, that a lot of people, they accept Lord Rama as the supreme personality of God, and when you tell them to accept Krishna, they are not ready to accept Krishna, because they feel, okay, Krishna has done this, Krishna has done this, but coming back to that point, that if we really want to make a spiritual progress, then what we have to do is we have to come out of our mechanical bhakti, which we do all the time. At least I'm talking about myself. I'm getting up in the morning, I'm doing chanting all the time. I'm thinking about various things, then I do reading. And just I do sadhana as a part of, okay, I have to just finish off my sadhana before so and so time and do it. That may be beneficial, but Lord is showing by his own example, by his own leela, that just being a mechanical bhakti is not enough. We see various examples, so that's why he came personally, and he personally shows one by one through various examples that how he accepts the devotees. We have the example of Guha, we have example of Shabri, we have example of Lakshmana, Bharata, various devotees who just how they are accepted by the Lord, just being completely surrendered. So let's take one by one different examples in this thing. So Ayodhya, actually the name Ayodhya was there primarily because it means a kingdom which cannot be defeated. Ayodhya means which cannot be fought with. Indirectly means which cannot be defeated. And the king Dashratha, his name also has a significance that he can simultaneously see in the 10 directions and shoot the arrow. And that's why we know that story, right, where Shravan Kumar gets killed by Dashrath Maharaj because he had that power of shooting the arrows, by the hearing the voice. And he mistook that voice of a deer to the, basically Shravan Kumar was filling up the water. And that point of time, King Dashratha thought that it's a deer drinking the water, and then he shoots the arrow, and then Shravan Kumar gets killed. And that's how he gets cursed, that by the parents of Shravan Kumar, that you will die the way we are dying in the this thing of in the separation from our own son. And that is always there in his mind. But Dashrath had another problem. Although he was very powerful, although he was very strong, and but he had no son. So in spite of, actually it is mentioned in the scripture that he ruled for 60,000 years over Ayodhya, but still he didn't have any child. So so he was, of course, Bhagavatam says that he had a daughter with the name Shanti. She was born out of Kaushalya. So she was the first child which Dashratha and Kaushalya had. But after that, they didn't have any child. And anyway, that's a very long story. We cannot go into that story, where did the Shanti go and what happened. But we know that these three primary queens like Kaushalya, Kaikai, and Sumitra. So they didn't have any. Actually, he had not just 3 wives. Actually, he had 355 or 325, something like that wives he had, actually. I've heard in Jagat Sakshi Prabhu's lecture only that, what used to happen is that, because we discussed that Parshuram was the contemporary of, Dashrath Maharaj, or all that time, Dashrath Ram and all that. And he had killed all the Kshatriyas 21 times. He has wiped out the earth from Kshatriyas. So there was one good thing about Lord Parshuram. He is Lord himself. So Parshuram was that, he will not kill any king if he is getting married. So what ministers or whatever, I don't know if it was suggested by ministers or Vasishtha Muni or whatever, but he got this advice that as soon as he will heard that Parshuram is coming, he will start getting married to one queen. And like that, by the time Parshuram will come, he will see he is getting married, so he will leave him. Like that, he married. But the problem was that still after getting married to so many people, he was not having any child. So many women, wives, he was not having any child. So we can understand in this material world, there will be always some or other miseries are always there. So we expect our life to be always full of roses, but unfortunately it doesn't happen that way. We get roses, 10 roses, but then along with roses come the thorns. And those thorns, when they prick us and then we crib, oh, life is so this. We don't look at the roses which we are getting in our life. We are just thinking about the thorns which are pricking us. So whatever we try in this material world, although the name of the kingdom is Ayodhya and the king is Dashratha, who is very powerful. And he had actually gone, we know all that story, right? He had gone to fight from the demigod sides, and Kekai also went. And that's how this whole story of Kekai having the 2 boons, because she had helped and Dashra got injured, and he told, I will give you 2 boons. And Kekai said, I don't want anything now, maybe I'll ask you later. Or rather, I don't know if she told or Dashrath only, okay, if you don't want anything, you can ask me later. I'll give you. So whatever reason it was. So that 2 boons were kept. Now coming to the Kekai story is another aspect, very important aspect to learn in our spiritual life was, actually speaking, when the Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughan, they were born, after so much of what you call the Putra Kameshchi Yagna, which was done by Dashratha. He was very happy, and everything is going on very nice. He is enjoying the kids, but then again Vasishtha Muni comes. He takes his sons for the Gurukul, and later we know that Vishwamitra comes, and Vishwamitra takes Ram and Lakshman. That conversation between Vishwamitra and Dashratha is also very, very interesting. Because Dashrath is very much scared, because Lord Ram was just 16-year-old. He's thinking, how can my son, he's so soft, he's like lotus petals, like that, his organ, but you would say his body is like that, his hands are like this thing, his eyes are like lotus, so he's so soft. How he will go and fight these demons? He says, if you want, I will come with you. But then Vishwamitra says, whatever I ask you, give it, otherwise it's okay. And then Vasishtha Muni says, I think it's high time you go and you send. But very heavy heart, he sends. So whatever point I was trying to make was that Kekai, Kaushalya and Sumitra, they all love Lord Rama even more than their own sons. And Bharat, Shatrughan and Lakshman were also grown up in such a way that they were not jealous of Lord Ram being given more love. Kekai is giving more love to Lord Ram. Sumitra is giving more love to Lord Ram. But Lord Ram is, giving more and more love to Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughan, like an ideal elder brother. He is filling that gap, whatever love they are missing from their own mother, because they are attracted by the Lord Ram so much. But then what happened that Kekai became so, rebellious, or whatever you call it? It was just a little association with the wrong person, Mantra. Mantra had jealousy because some of the maid servant who was to the Kaushalya, and she was the servant to Kekai, and maybe Sumitra also must be having some personal servants. Kaushalya also had, and those Kaushalya, some personal servants had passed some comment to Mantra, saying that our queen's son is becoming, king, and that's all. She becomes so jealous from inside that she just went to Kekai's room, and Kekai is very happy. Everybody's situation also is like that. Dashrata announced tomorrow Lord Ram will be, my son Ram will be incarnated as king, and the whole preparation is going on, and Lord Ram and Sita are also getting ready. They were supposed to sleep on floor and do some austerities, and supposed to take early bath, and all that is going on, and all these queens are also ready, including Kekai. She's very happy that Lord Ram is getting coronated as king. This mantra, and it is mentioned in Valmiki Ramayana that when Mantra, she goes to Kekai, and Kekai in between is just taking some rest. She's lying down, and that time Mantra goes and she says, "Oh, foolish lady, what are you doing? You are lying. You are taking rest like that." And Kekai used to give a lot of respect because she had come from the Kekai Desh. She had come from her father's time. Along with the marriage, Mantra had come. So, she used to treat her like a motherly, although she was a servant, but she was being treated as a motherly this thing by Kekai. So, she says, "Do you know what's happening in this thing? Ram is becoming this thing." And she said, "Yes, it's a very happy moment." She removes a diamond necklace and gives to Mantras. "See, you had such a good news, And that Mantra, she breaks that, whole this thing, whatever necklace, and she throws on the floor, and she says, "You foolish lady, you don't know." And like she will, I cannot make my dialogue by dialogue because it's not. But then she just, and slowly, Kekai, just because the association with the wrong person, the person who she's loving so much, Lord Ram, it all just in moment, what do you say, a few minutes or whatever, half an hour, 1 hour, whatever the conversation goes, it just gets changed. That is the power of a wrong association. And we all who are on the path of spirituality, we need to be very, very careful what kind of associations we are having. Sometimes we think what's going to happen, a momentary association, it does not affect this thing. I am anyway an elevated soul. I have already read Bhagavad-Gita, Bhagavatam. I give lectures. Everybody hears to me. And I'm a wonderful Kirtanaya. I do seva in the temple. I personally cook for the Lord. And so many things will have. But Kekai is the biggest thing for us to learn. She was loving whatever for till that point of time, she was loving Lord Ram like anything. And just a moment of a wrong association. She just heard it. She actually should have stopped at that point of time saying that, "What are you, foolish lady? You are foolish. What are you talking? Nonsense. I don't want to hear anything about Lord, my son Ram. He's a personification of Dharma. He's like that. He's like that." She should have told. But she just gave ears. And little ears we give it to these wrong association. Then what happens is our bhakti will get destroyed. And her love for Lord Ram was turned into a jealousy or whatever, the envy towards Ram. And we just heard now Mataji told, no, envy means no vacancy. So if we have envy, it is very difficult to overcome. And when we have envy, we are on the path of spirituality. We will have envy, not just with the material people, we'll have enviousness with the devotees only. Because now our circle is so devotees only. Most of us, after coming to bhakti, we slowly cut off our material, too much material contacts and all that, right? But now, because we are taking whatever little association in our work, in our friends, in our relatives, we'll think anyway, we need them for future. They will, if something happens to me, hospital, if I have to go, who will come? My relatives only will come, take care of me. And I need them. I'm not following them, but just I'll keep some social this thing. And people will, why are ISKCON is like that? I have heard on YouTube, I have read on YouTube, like I watched the video on YouTube. They were talking about this one like that. They are doing like this. Your guru is like that. You go and watch that video. Prabhupada, this happened. He did that. He did that. Little bit of it. I am not hearing anyway. Nothing will happen to me. But slowly, 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 slowly. You think I'm watching bhakti channels. That's one thing where most of the devotees do. Prabhu, I heard a very nice lecture on Bhakti channel. They were talking about Krishna and Radha and like that, and they were dancing on the stage. The Guruji only was dancing like Radha Rani, and there was so this thing. But if you hear with carefully, there would be some Mayavad in that, or there would be something talk about Radha Rani. They will talk something about. So we need to be very, very. Association is not. I'm just 5-10 minutes. I'm watching Facebook. I have all devotee friends only. I'm just watching their status. And as soon as, oh, that devotee went to Uti, what am I doing? I'm not gone to for last 10 years to any such place. I'm always going to Mayapur, Vrindavan, and Jagannath Puri. How many times I'll go? Once I'll go to Uti. What is the problem? I'm just giving an example. Okay. So the point is that, we should not lend our ears, eyes, this thing. Little also learn from KK. We should not do little also give our any chance to our senses to get attracted with any of these things, because they will just drag. We don't have time. In Bhagavatam, it is mentioned that how fish get attracted to one tongue is not able to, it just gets attracted to the, so much food is available in sea. He is getting from that hook. Elephant just by touch, deer with the sound flute of the hunter. Like that, there are examples that each sense of one of the sense of these animals, that traps them. And just imagine about our situation. We have all the senses so strong. They're just running around here, there. And what will be our fate? It's going to be very, very worse. So with much difficulty, we have got a bhakti. We cannot take chance with it. Don't give any opportunity to any of these things. Ki thode se kya hota hai? It little or nothing will happen. That little only will, take us this thing. So that association is one aspect which we can learn from our this thing. Another thing is, there are different, characters we can learn from Bharata. The name itself is Bharata, which comes from the person who has carried the bhar. Bhar means the load. He has the load of being blamed for something which he has not done at all. And still that he continued his bhakti or his dedication to Lord Ram. He never compromised on that. He was being blamed, for something. When he came back and he goes into, after hearing all this happens, scolding Kekai, he goes to room of Kaushalya with tears in his eyes. And first thing he hears from Kaushalya is, Bharat, are you happy now? You are the king. You will get what you wanted. And Bharat just could not say anything. He loved Kaushalya like more than her Kekai. And he just falls at the feet and says, my dear mother, I am not part of all this. I am not part of all this. And then Kaushalya accepts, and Sumitra also accepts. But the kingdom people, they just don't accept it. They say the mother and son has done all this. And then he goes out and he tells, I don't want this. Let's all go to whatever mistake my mother has done. I will correct it. And he goes to bring Lord Ram back. But Lord Ram doesn't come. After that, what he does? He stays in a place called Nangram outside Ayodhya. I still remember that place. We had gone with Jagasakshi Prabhu once. It's a small place in the, there are some steps you go down. He used to sit there and meditate there. And he was living like Lord Ram. And you know what he used to eat every day? Just a handful of, the fistful of, what do you call that? The seeds, like wheat kind of thing, you assume. So that wheat seed, barley, yes, barley. And he will soak it into Gaumutra. And that's what his food is. For 14 years, he lived like that. And all the ministers will come and take the advice from there. And on Simhasana, he keeps that the Paduka of Lord Ram. And he just, he just runs this thing. And he tells Ram, even if one day you are late, I will kill myself. That is the, in spite of comings, ups and downs, in spite of being, see the example of Lakshmana. Lakshmana actually didn't even sleep for the protection of Ram and Sita in the forest. But when actually Raman does everything, and Lord Ram goes behind the golden deer, at that point of time, it was all Marichi. He shouts, "Ha Lakshman, ha Sita." And that point of time, Sita asks Lakshmana to go behind, Lord Ram. And Lakshman says, "Don't worry, nothing can happen to my brother. He is very powerful. Don't worry." But she's not really. She's this thing. And at one point of time, she says, "I understand why you are waiting. You were eyeing on me. That's your desire from inside." And as soon as Lakshman hears that, he just like feels so bad about it. And he says that he decides to go with heavy heart. He knows it is all a trap, but he's not, although he does that Lakshman Rekha and all that to protect Sita. But on the other hand, when he goes there and Ram has killed Marich by that time, Marich has already told that, this is all Ravan's trap. And Ram sees Lakshmana, immediately he shouts at Lakshmana, "What you have done? Why you left your sister-in-law alone? Mother Sita, why did you leave her alone?" And he gets a scolding from there. He gets scolding from there also. And then they go back and they see. And then Lakshmana is so repentful. He's asking for forgiveness from Lord Ram. But still he never left. So Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughna, they have to bear so much, but they never left their dedication for Lord Ram. So there are so many lessons from Bhakti. In Bhakti, we will have many ups and downs. There will be many times seniors will come and scold us, say, "What, you are not doing this seva." Especially in sevas, this happens very frequently. Somebody will come and say, hey, what you are doing? And while serving, I'll see sometimes some of the devotees serving, and then some senior devotees shout, "Hey, touch marbeda," whatever, that don't touch the plate. And then devotee will feel so hurt, the sevas we will do, and then we'll get scoldings, and then we'll say, "For what we came in bhakti?" Outside also people are like that. Here also people are like that. What is the use of this bhakti? They are all pretending. None of them is devotee. So we think like that, right? But one thing we have to understand, we have to learn from these personalities. Lord has come personally along with all these associates to show it to all of us that how we should be in this material world, how we should live. So there are so many examples, but it's already 6:30. I don't think with this thing we can live, but there's so many examples to learn from Ramayana. So on this auspicious day, let's pray at the lotus feet of Supreme Lord Sriram to bless all of us, and we are able to live the kind of life all these personalities have lived. I know it's very difficult. That's why he is Maryada Purushottam. He has shown to the whole world by his religious, endeavor or act, whatever you call it, that this is how a person should live. It may sound difficult, but there have been, in our parampara itself, we see so many devotees. We have, Rup Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, Shad Goswami, Lord himself coming in Kali Yuga as Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, actually, it's not something, and even in contemporary world, when you see around, that's why we go to ISKCON temple, we see the devotees, we make friendship with them, and then we talk to them. Then what happens is that we can learn from them. There are so many devotees. Don't go by externals. We should not go by externals, how that person is looking. He's never combing his hair. He's wearing always crumpled clothes, and he doesn't know how to talk. Don't go by that. We should not do that mistake. We always do that mistake because in externally we are trained in material world that, okay, everybody is go by look only. So in spiritual world also we do like that. But then, we never know how a devotee is. Shabri, if we would have gone by that look, we would have never accepted Shabri as this thing. Guha should not be accepted. Kevat should not be accepted as the devotee. But Lord is showing by examples that these are the people who are real devotees. Bharata, Shatrughna, Lakshmana, Sita, and Kaushalya. So they all okay, they are okay. But these people, these Vanaras, Sugriva, and I will end with this story where, when Vibhishana comes at that point of time, Lord Ram in the camp, he asks, shall I accept this thing, Vibhishana, into our side? And then everybody says no. But Lord Hanuman at that point of time, he says, my dear Lord, you have taken this thing. Anybody who is coming to your lotus feet, you cannot reject them. So whoever is coming, Vibhishana is coming, please accept him in your this thing. And Lord immediately, very happily, on the advice of course, it's a this thing, Lord has made up his mind. He himself says that anybody who comes to my lotus feet, I have to accept him. So so that way, when he's being advised, but he was trying to test how so Lord Hanuman actually passes the test, that yes, anybody who is coming to the lotus feet of the Lord accepts him. So we all are very fortunate. We should be, I should not say use the word proud, but we should be always hopeful. Whatever fallen we are, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has, delivered most fallen of this world, and we are just chanting by the name of the Lord. We will get deliverance. If we should try our best. We will get or not, that is up to the Lord. But we should be always hopeful. Bhakti means enthusiasm, hopeful, always hopeful. So we all should be always hopeful that yes, whatever fallen we are, whatever imperfectly we are doing our spiritual activities, Lord will accept us. And and Lord has himself given Name Bhakti Apaneshwari, my devotees never perish. So we will be always, we can be hopeful. He will do or not, we'll leave it to Lord. So let's utilize this opportunity, which by the mercy of Lord, we all are very fortunate. We have this opportunity to understand this, spiritual topics with so much easily by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, through his books, through his lectures, our acharyas, our contemporary, Guru Vrind of ISKCON. We are so fortunate that we have everything is available to us so easily. So let's not use this opportunity. Let's pray at the lotus feet of Lord Rama to bless all of us. And let's hope we all continue and engage in the service of Lord Rama enthusiastically always. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for giving me opportunity on this auspicious day.
Prabhuji, that was a wonderful last item of our feast. I hope everyone is full of their stomachs with the feast served today by our leaders. So as said, yes, let's all take the shelter of lotus feet of Chandra on this special day of Ram Navmi, where we get ultimate protection and fearlessness. So let's all say a Hare Krishna Mahamantra and Jai Sriram for all our leaders who has served us so humbly. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
Jai Shri
Jai
Ram.
Shri Ram.
Jai Shri Ram.
So thank you, Vishnupriya Mataji, and through you, I want to thank all the coordinators of this program. You all are wonderfully, very enthusiastically, you are conducting these programs again and again. I know over the period of time, things start becoming monotonous and we lose the interest, but you all are doing wonderful job. You all are inspiring all of us, to speak and, to come up and share the, glories of the Lord. So thank you so much to all of you for being so enthusiastic. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity to be a part of this BBB team, Prabhuji. I hope we are all serving all the devotees and not boring anyone. So please come forward. It is a purifying opportunity for all of us. In between, we'll have feast in the special days by our leaders like this. So Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody.
Today was a bumper day.
So, Today we actually requested Achyut Prabhuji to give the session, but the Prabhuji told, I'll be on your team, Mataji, BBB team. I'll keep pulling the leader's leg because you can't do that.
So next time list is ready already. We have Achyut Prabhu, Shankpani Prabhu, and Sumedha Mataji. So Mahindra Prabhu, Vinita Mataji also we have not heard. So just keep them on the list, and we would love to hear them.
Yes, Prabhuji. We are informing now itself because your calendars are so busy. So remember, Prabhuji.
Sure, Mataji. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.